Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In this video, basically what we'll be doing is we'll be trying to create polyfills for most of the array methods. Obviously, I'll not be covering all of the array methods. I'm hoping you all be able to cover after watching this whole video. Okay, and there'll be relevant times for the different methods which I'll be implementing. Uh, and just to remind in the first place that I'll not be creating completely spec compliant versions. I don't think it's expected anyway in any kind of job interview as well. So uh, so if you're more interested, you can go about creating it your more spec compliant version of it. But I'll just be creating many simplified implementations of the core functionalities. Like for map, it's mostly to convert an array to a different form of array. Reduce is basically to simplify it to a single value, and so on and so on. Okay. So we'll be first starting with the array add method. Okay. So let me create it. I think I went wrong, not this window. It should be here. Save add.js. I'll just copy these methods to make it more simpler for me. Okay. And instead of writing everything, I'll just write console.log array1 dot add what index will be what 0 and it will be -1. So first of all, let me clarify what the array add does. Let me first run it also. Add.js. As you can see, array add.0 is able to give you the output of 5 and -1 is able to give you the last value in the array. There's some, if you're familiar with Python, it's somewhat, it's coming up from the, I think, I'm not sure what is the complete rationale about implementing in JavaScript, but it's somewhat similar to how it happens in Python. Like basically you can get the last value. Otherwise, what will happen is like if you would like to access the last value using the square notation, suppose I'll just show you here. -1, it's gonna give you undefined because there is no such index as such in the array 1. Basically, an array is just an object with numbers as the index, so there is no -1 as such, and you'll not be able to get it. So to avoid those scenarios and to get so that and you if you would like to access the last value, you can use the at syntax. Okay. So this was the basic logic about it, and now we can start about implementing our own. There are two ways of going about implementing. First of all, you can go about writing the code in the prototype of the array. Okay, and I've noticed in interviews mostly this is the expected way of doing it, but I think it's just polluting the global scope. I'll just show you in this example, but going forward, we'll be basically writing it in just in normal functions, not like this. I'll show you later on in this example itself. But first of all, let me write function and let me come here in the MDN and just see what is the basic implementation is required. It's saying that it's going to take index, so I'll just take the index here. And it's going to check the element in the array matching the given index. Always return undefined index is less than this one or this one without attempting to access the original. So we'll just implement it that way, that if this dot, this is going to become clear why I'm using this here. But if this dot what length, if index is less than this dot length, or index is greater than equal to this dot length, then I'm just going to return undefined. That's it. Simple as that. Otherwise, what I'll do is like I'll be trying to access the property and I need to basically check if index is greater than equal to 0, then I'm just going to return the bracket notation one, return index. Else, if what index is less than 0, then I'm just going to return this index, basically this dot length plus index. Okay. Simple as that. As you can see here, it's gonna basically return if the negative index has been set, then it's gonna basically allow. I'm just whatever is written, I'm just converting it to code. That's it. Simple as that. Okay, and let us now test it out. I'll just comment these ones and copy them. Copy both of them. Comment, comment. Now let's see whether it works or not. It's saying it's not there. Why? I think I missed out something here, I guess. Console array1 dot pat. Mm, okay, I think I missed out this one. It should be what? Minus. Silly mistake. That's it, works fine. Yeah, it's working by 544. So this is the way where you can basically put it on prototype, but I don't feel you do it in a normal day job. Anyway, in any case, you'll not be basically modifying the prototype array, and I think there's a very much nice case studies as well built upon like why you should not modify the global prototype, basically prototypes like array number object. Anyway, so what I'll do is like I'll just keep the code and I'll comment it off for readability sake. But going forward, I'll be doing it in a more functional approach. Before that, I forgot to mention it. See, here I'm using a normal function. This is very much important because if you don't use a normal function here, if you use arrow function, this is not going to come up properly. This in quotes is not going to bind properly. So like just to show you, it's coming as undefined, and just to be very clear to you, let me do console.log this. As you can see, it's coming as global empty object. I'll not be explaining a lot about what happens under the hood here with regards to binding this and all. Let me know in the comments if you would like me to go deeper on that. But for our sake, for this prototype, basically this polyfills things to work, you would need the function keyword here. Basically, you need to use normal function so that you can access the array one. Basically, the dot array one. When you're accessing is this way, the this in quotes points to array one. Okay. It's very difficult always to explain this. Anyway, so let me just see whether everything is working fine. Yeah, it's working fine. Now let me comment it off. Now what I'll be doing is like this is how I'll be implementing all the other polyfills also. So I'll just copy it for now. I'll be first sending the array as the first parameter, and mostly the required parameters I'll be sending separately. Like index is here, required for at. I'll just copy this code and what uncomment it. I'll just put array everywhere. Okay. And while doing console.log, I'll do what add array 1 comma 0 at array comma minus 1. And this is how we'll be implementing all the other polyfills. Okay. I had shown you just now how you can modify the global prototype of array. I would suggest not to do it, but if it's asked in interview, if you really need to do it, you can go about this way. And most of the other code will be somewhat similar. So wherever, like how I showed you just now, you have to just basically place the this as from to the array and use it. Okay. So all the polyfills will be following this kind of structure, having the function, because I felt it would make more sense because we'll be normally using in our day-to-day job like this, not like creating, not basically modifying the prototype chain. Okay. So at is done now. Let me close it. Now what is there? Concat. Okay, it should be saved. Let me rename it. What happened? Okay, it was comma. That's why it got reduced. Anyway, now let us come to concat. Copy, paste. I'll just modify this example somewhat. Okay, it should be what? Concat is basically going to take two or more arrays and it's basically going to return you a new array. Okay. So merge two and this method does not change the existing arrays, but instead returns a new array. We can give the values also. It's not necessary for you to give just array, I guess, in here. Let me clarify it once. Yeah. So I'll just put what D here. Then it's an array. Now I'll just give a value G. Let's see first how it works for the normal array. Array 2. Okay. It's as you can see, it's concatenating and returning us a new array. And just to be on the same page whether everything's fine, whether the array 1 got modified or not, let me do array 1, array 2. As you can see, array 1 did not get modified and array 2 has returned us a new array. Okay. So now we need to implement it. Function concat. Now concat is gonna take one or more values, but first of all we need to send our array here. Then we need to follow the index signature. It's saying it's gonna take items. Okay, so for items we are gonna take what values. Okay, we can take more than one value here. And since I'll be returning a new array, I'll put it in a result. I'll just spread the array values. Okay, and now I just need to iterate over this values and see if it is an array, then I need to basically put all the elements of the array inside the ABC array. And if it is just a value, then I just need to push it. It will become more clear when I implement it now. So I just need a for loop for let index equal to this array dot length element with value. Now I have to check whether it's an array or not, whether first value is an array or not. That's it. So I just check value. So value I'll give it. If it is a value, then then I'll be pushing the different values of it. No, sorry. If it's a array, then I need to iterate again that array. So again, I'll do for loop, and this will be what value dot length value index. Let me cut it, save, result dot push, paste value index. So basically, if it is an array, then basically if it is an array, I'm just gonna iterate toward the array and just push it to the to the our result array. Okay. I'm not going much depth here with regards to concat because there are a lot of things to consider here like shallow copying, sparse, etc. I just want to keep a simplified implementation here. Okay. So, and if it is not an array, then I'm just going to by default push it. Like in for our case, it's the capital uppercase G value. And at the end, I have to return result. Let us modify this example and let me comment this code. Copy, comment. This should be concat array1, comma. Let me clear it. Node concat.js. As you can see, it's coming up what ABC has not been modified, the array1, and array2 is the modified. ABC. One second, what happened? I think I did mistake in while iterating, I guess. Okay, both of the names are same. That should not be an issue, I guess. For const value equal to array index. This is what array. Okay, sorry. It should be values. Values length. I'm gonna iterate the values. I'm gonna check it. If it's this, yeah, cool. Now let's see. Yeah, now as you can see, it's working fine. Say silly mistake, I guess. So now concat is done. I'm gonna close it. I'll be skipping copy within entries. I'll come back to it later on. Now we can go with every new save every.js. Okay, now we need to implement every. Let me take the example here only. Copy, paste. What every does is basically it's going to check all the elements in the array, whether they pass this, whether those elements pass, basically return a true D value for the callback functions which you pass. Okay, in simple terms. So let me just show you how it works here by default case. Not sure why sometimes I'm getting issue. As you can see, it's saying true because the condition was current value should be less than 40 and all the values are less than 40. And suppose if I increase it, it should be false now. As you can see, it's false now. Okay, now we need to implement it. So function every array1, and we need to check what is the every. Every is taking a predicate, which is nothing but a callback function in our case, and it's going to take what value, index, as well as the array. Okay, so I'll just write callback function. Okay, and then I'll be basically iterating the array. Mm, I think it should be what array. I'll just take a value out of it. I don't think I need a value here in this case. I'll just be checking the callback function and calling it with this whatever parameters it requires, the arguments it requires. It will be what first is whenever you get confused, it's better to come to Visual Studio Code and just check what is it saying. It needs value, index, and array. So we just need to pass that. Value is gonna be nothing but array, index, then it's gonna be what index, then array. Okay. So it's gonna check whether if any of them fail, then it's gonna return fast. So it's gonna return false if any of them fail. But if all of them return true, then it's gonna return us true. Okay. So let us now put it to test. Let me what copy this, comment it out. No, not this comment. I think this should be below. Copy, comment. I have to send the array here, and the callback function we passed a second parameter, second argument. Just run node every. It's working fine. It's true. Now if I make it greater, it's false. As you can see, it's working fine. Let me see whether I've missed anything or not. Okay, I think it's working fine, I guess. Again, you can go here and check out a lot more details is required if you would like to build complete polyfill of it. And yeah, I forgot to mention it, but if you're very much interested, you can come just below the MDN docs and see the specification. It's going to point to the direct location where it's there if you are being very curious here. Okay, otherwise you can come and see if you would like to see the implementation of it. I think you can come here and explore in a core.js, I guess. Uh, it's up to you. Anyway, I'll just close it. Okay, average is done. Now we have to come with fill, I guess. Let me open another terminal. Close, save, fill.js. For fill again, I'll just copy them. I will remove these all. Let me just take it out. Okay. Now let me first run it and tell you what fill does if you're not aware about it. Fill is basically gonna fill your array from the first one is the what value it needs to fill. The second is gonna tell second argument is gonna tell like from where it should start filling it this value 0 in this case and till what end pointer. Okay, till what end index. This end index is not including it in one way. As you can see, we need to suppose just let me walk you through it. We need to fill 0 and we need to start from second index which is 0, 1, 2 which is third. Okay, and we need to fill it till fourth index. Like where is it? Let me just show it to you once. 0-bit indexing fills up to but not including end. Okay, it's very important because this is going to decide whether how you're going to write a code for it, a polyfill. Okay, so hence it's basically fills up this array with 0 0 at the end starting from second index. The 3 gets replaced with 0 and 4 also gets replaced 0. Now again, if you don't specify a value, by default it's gonna basically start from 0 then I guess. I think it was written somewhere. By default it's gonna use 0. Okay. So hence if you don't pass it anything and just you pass the value 6, that's gonna basically fill everything with 6. Similarly here, if you pass it only with start index as a second argument, it's gonna basically fill the array with from there, but it's gonna fill it till the end of the array. Like here, we did not pass the end index. That's why it's filled it from what? Start index was 1, which is 2, 3, 4, has been replaced with 5, 5, 5. That's it, I guess. I would suggest you, if you have not used it till now, I would suggest you check out the ambient docs. But anyway, we can start implementing polyfill now. So for this, I'll use function fill array. Fill is gonna take what? Value, start, end. Start index, I'll write in my case, end index. Okay. Start index, I'll give a default value of 0. End index, again, I'll give a default value of what? Array.length. For index array.length, I'll just come here. Array index, first of all, it should be what? Start index. I don't need to give 0 because by default I'm giving it 0 here. So, and end index would be array.length. Instead of array.length, I'll replace it what end index because I've given end index here. Here if you see. Anyway, mm, so array index is I have to replace it with the value which I'm passing it in the second argument here. Second parameter in this case. And then I need to return the array because in here it's an important thing. Where is it? It returns the modified array. Basically, it's going to modify the array. It's not going to create a new array. It's important. If you don't want to modify the original arrays, then you should do customization, I guess. In this case, what could have been done? You could have literally again done the, you could have taken the array and basically create a new array out of it using the spread syntax. Okay. So now let me copy this code, copy, comment, paste. No, actually what? I'll just replace fill with array1, comma. Now let's see it's working fine or not. As you can see, the output is same. Again, I have not handled any edge cases in this scenario. You can see there are a lot of edge cases in here with if itself. I'm just directly iterating it. You're free to do it. Okay, and that's it, I guess. I think I'm not missed anything. Close. Now we need to do filter, which is mostly asked in interviews also. Let me copy the example. I'm assuming you're familiar with filter. But if you're not, it's basically you're going to take the array and it's going to filter based on some kind of expression which you pass as a callback argument. It's going to check it. Like in this case, we are passing the words array and we are basically passing this callback function which is going to check whether the word's length is greater than 6 or not. If it is, then only those words which passes expression are only going to be allowed to be passed to the array result. Okay. I'm not sure whether doing good job of explaining these functions. I would suggest to check out the MDN if you get confused or not. My main focus is implementing the simpler polyfills in this video. Hopefully you're able to understand. Otherwise, I would really suggest you to check out the MDN docs. Okay. Anyway, now we can go about implementing the filter function now. So for this, we need to write function filter array. Again, I'll be writing callback function, and we need to return a new array here. Okay, and we need to iterate it. So I'm going to iterate it based on this. I'm going to take the value. I'm going to check whether the callback function which we passed, uh, basically let me hover again. See, as you can see, filter, we need to have pass it value index array. Okay, so it will be what value index array. If it's a truly value, then we are going to basically push it to the array. That's it. We'll basically push the value to the array. And at the end of this, we'll basically return the result. Now let me copy this, comment them, paste, filter, I'll remove it, words, comma. As you can see, it's working fine. This was a very simple implementation again of filter. I think this does it, I guess. Now filter is done. Now we need to come to find. Okay, for find again, I'll just take this example here. Copy, paste, run it. As you can see, we are getting a 12 output. What findIndex does is basically is going to check the first value which matches this condition, which is going to be what element is greater than 10. So 12 matches it, so it returns the 12. I think that's what it does. First element in the provided array. Cool. There are different variations of it also, which we'll be doing it later on. Anyway, so we need to write a function now. Function find. This is going to take what? Again, a callback function, and we need to pass the array here also. Callback fn. So now what we have to do is like basically we need to iterate the array. And we need to check we need to basically return true the value for this. It's going to be value index array in our case. And if it is there, then we just need to return the value. We don't need to iterate all the whole array if you're able to get the first value out of this array while iterating it. And if you're not able to get it, even if it iterates till the end, I think then we need to return undefined here. So I'll just return undefined. Okay, I need to copy this, comment, paste. As you can see, it's working fine. Yeah. Okay. So this is for find now. Now we need to come with find index. You'll be noticing some of the methods will be somewhat repetitive, I guess. So I'll just modify it however I feel fit. For this, I'll just use the already one. Say find index.js, paste, find index. Okay. As you can see, it has to find the element which matches 10, which is going to be the first element, which is nothing but, which basically is the first index, 0, 1. Okay. That is what it's giving us. So we need to write the function for this also now. Find index is somewhat similar. We just need to return the index, I guess, here. And for the return scenario, if you're not able to get the value, we need to return -1. Let us now copy this, comment it off, paste. Cool, it's working fine now also. So I think this is it for this one. Now we need to come to what? Find last. Find last is somewhat similar to find index. No, it should be somewhat similar to find, copy. Okay, we need to what? Find last. Just remove these code first. Element is greater than 10. Element is greater than 100. At least 50. Which not doesn't come to the last index. Node find last. It's what 130. As you can see, the last element, it's basically iterates from the last end of the array. Last basically find iterates from the start of the array, and last find last iterates from the end of the array in simple terms. So 44, it did not match the requirement, and it 130 matched it, so it's returned it. Okay. So we'll now implement it, I guess. The only change we have to do is the iteration now. So I'll do what? Array dot length -1. The index has to be what, greater than equal to 0, and index should be what, minus minus. And value, I'll take it, return value, otherwise return undefined. Let's see whether it works or not. Copy, comment, paste, find last, array 1. Find last is not defined. It should be what, find last. Weird. What happened now? Hmm? Okay, silly mistake. Again, you can see 130 is the output. Okay, this does it. I for find index, find last. Next is what? Flat. I'll come back with a find last index. Okay, for find last index, I'll just copy find index, close it, open it. I'll just do it first here. Find last index, and let me first what comment these out just to show you. Find last index. Again, element has to be what, greater than what. Let it be the last index this time. As you can see, it's saying 4 because 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. The last index is 4, P4, and that is matching the condition, so it returned that. Now we need to just modify it. Sorry about that. So again, we need to come here and say what, array dot length minus 1, index is greater than equal to 0, index minus minus. Let's see whether I missed out anything about. I don't think so. I missed out. It's working fine, I guess. Now basically I iterated from the last array and till index is greater than equal to 0, value I've got it, and I'm just basically calling the function and I'm returning the array. Okay, that is works fine, I guess. I'll be coming to flat later on. Now I think we can go with for each. For each dot this for each. I'll just copy this, nothing much. Paste. As you can see, the output has come up. Some of the methods are quite self-explanatory, which I think we use day to day job in our job or any kind of work we do. JavaScript, so I'm not explaining them much in details. Function for each. Here also we need to pass the array. Then we need to pass the callback function. And we need to basically iterate the array. Nothing fancy here. We need to get the value. And we need to do callback function with the value. You can again come here and see what it expects. It expects value, index, and array. So I'll just do that. Value, index, array. This is it. Now let us copy this, comment it, come back here, paste it. Cool. It's working fine now. Now let us implement another method. So this time it will be includes. Let me close this, create a new file, save it with includes.js, and I think I've opened it already. So I'll just copy this example and let me run it. So as you can see, it's saying true when the value 2 is present in the array, and I think we can start implementing it now. Function includes, it's gonna be array, then we need to take search element and from index. Search element from index. The from index by default will be 0 in our case, since we'll be using that for the starting value for the index in the for loop. So for index array dot length value here, and this is gonna be what, from index, and we are gonna check that if value equal search element. If it is, then we are gonna return true. And if we have already iterated the array and we did not find it, that means we need to return false. That means the element is not present in the array. So let me copy this, comment this out, paste, change it, array1, comma 2, node includes. It's working fine as you can see. So this is done now. Let us go to another method. It's indexOf. So let us create a new file, index. Okay, save indexOf.js. So now we need to implement indexOf.js. So I think I've already opened it here. Let me copy this, paste, And we need to take search element from index, somewhat similar to previous one. So we write function index of, and we need to see what it's taking. It's taking search element from index. I think I could have copied some of the code from there. Copy index of search element from index is same. It's gonna again iterate to the array and it's gonna check whether the value matches it or not. If it matches, then I'm just gonna return the index. Otherwise, by default, I'm gonna return -1. Let us see what it's saying. Yeah, -1 only. So now we need to copy this. Once let me execute it also. Node index of .js. It's gonna be 1. Bison has index of 1 in the array beast. So let me call this function here again. Copy, comment, index of beast, bison. Let's see whether everything works fine. Yeah, it's working fine, I guess. Let me just verify the code once. Yeah, I think it looks good. Okay. So indexOf is done, includes is done. Now what is the function? Now we need to implement join method. So let me open it. Let me create a new file and save it with join.js. Done. And let me copy this example. These two examples should suffice. Save node join.js. Fire water, fire water. We can put here hyphen instead. So by default, it needs a comma separator, and otherwise, whatever separator we pass, it's going to take it. So this is the implementation we need to do. So let's see function join. It's going to take what? An array as well as a separator. By default, it's going to be a comma. So we're going to basically be iterating through it for index array dot length value. Here let me check one thing. Yeah, if array dot length is 0, then we need to return an empty string. As you can see this line here. Okay, otherwise we'll be taking a separator. So separator by default is, I think I misspelled it. Separator. Okay. So now you might have noticed one pattern, like before only the first word, or you can say the string at the index of 0, don't need to put comma. Otherwise for the rest we need to put the comma. That's the pattern we'll be using it to write the algorithm here now. So what we'll do is, like, first of all, let me write result also. Let result equal to an empty string. I'm gonna check if the index is greater than what? 0. Basically, it's the second it's from the first index onwards. Then what I'll do is, like, I'll write result equal to result plus separator. Otherwise, by default, like for the first index onwards, we are basically gonna append it to the string, which is nothing but result equal to result plus value. Let me now copy this and see whether it works fine or not. Okay, before that, I think I missed out. I need to return the result also. Return result. Now here I need to come and just change it. It's going to be what? Elements. Okay, comma here. Let's repeat it, and as you can see, it's working fine. So this was join now. Now we need to do for keys. I'll be coming maybe later on. We need to come to last index of. Last index of is somewhat similar to, I guess, index of. I'll just copy this code itself. Come here and write last index of .js. Paste. Now let us think about it. It's basically going to iterate from the last index onwards. Return is going to be same -1. So we just need to change some of the things. First of all, let us see what will be the output. Last index of copy this. Last index of, as you can see, it's giving us 4 as the output because 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 is the last index. It's going to take search index as well as from index. Search element, from index it's taking. Instead of from index, I'll just remove the from index to avoid some extra code. I'll just focus on search element. You can just add it if you want. I'll just check index is going to be from last array dot length -1. Index is what? Greater than equal to 0. And index is going to be minus minus. And then we are going to just get the value and check whether the value is returns as well. Otherwise, we're going to paste it. Comment it off. Copy. Comment. Paste. That's it. Works fine. Okay, I messed it out. Now let's see. Yeah, it's working fine. It's 4. Okay, and suppose we write something else, random stuff. Hopefully it gives -1. Yeah, -1. Okay, this is it for last index. We are gonna iterate from the end. We are gonna minus it and decrement it and gets it. I guess done. Okay. Then we have map, which is quite popular method which we use, I think, daily. I guess. Not here. Save map.js. We are gonna basically take the array and iterate it and just make it different. Anyway, let us copy this example. Let us see the output. Node map 2, 8, 18 and 32 is basically multiplying it and getting a new array for us. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna take map. We're gonna take array. We're gonna call a callback function. Let us first see what it takes. It takes value index array, seems like how we have for what I think we already covered, I guess, somewhere. Some method we covered, I think every, I guess. Yeah. So we're gonna take callback function and we're gonna basically iterate. Since we need a new array, we'll create a new array here. Let result equal to an empty array. Then for loop value. Then I think it is what result dot push. We're gonna call back function. We're just gonna pass the arguments to the callback function, which are nothing but value index array. Cool. And then we are gonna return the result. Okay, now let us copy this, comment this, paste, map, I'll remove it, paste it here, comma. Let's see. As you can see, it's working fine, I guess. Okay, done, I guess, for map. Now we have pop. Let us create pop.js, marks, close. Pop is gonna basically remove the last element from the array and return the element, okay? This method will change the length of the array also. These are some of the important points we need to keep in mind. Let us execute it. Pop.js is basically gonna give us tomato. Now we can, I guess, start implementing it. Function pop. Let us see the signature, function signature. It's gonna not take anything. It's just gonna return a string. Okay, so first of all, we need to check some of things, I guess. Let us see. Undefined if the array is empty. So I just check the length of the array. Before that, I need to pass array for our method. Our custom pop needs it. If array.length equal 0, then we are going to return what? Undefined. Otherwise, we are going to take the value from the last index, which is nothing but array.length -1, I guess. Then we are going to modify the array of length. I'm not sure whether you know or not, but if you modify the length property of the array, you can modify the whole array itself. So what I'm doing it here is like I'm modifying the length property and reducing its length by 1. In effectively, I'm removing an element from the array as well as updating the array in one way. I'm explaining in simple terms. So what we're doing is like we are first getting the value from the last index of the array, we are modifying the array's length, and we're returning that value. So because we need to modify it, as you can see here, this method changes the length of the array. We need to remove it. Okay. So let us now copy this, comment this, come back here, cut it, paste it. And just to show you, I'll do one thing, do plants. We got the tomato and tomato got removed from the array also. Okay. I think this was it. Mm, yeah, I don't think I missed out anything. Yeah, cool. So we have pop. Now we have push.js, bookmarks. We need to just paste it, run it. It's gonna be 4. Push is basically gonna append it to the array as well as return as the new length of the array. So let me do count we are gonna get now. Let me do animals also. We got the new array with the cows at the end of the array. So that is it we need to implement now. So let us write function push array. What is it gonna take? Items. So we need values, I guess. I'm gonna spread it. I think I'm gonna not spread in one way, but yeah. I'm gonna take the array length, array dot length for loop. What I need to go basically values dot length value. There are a couple of things you need to notice here. First of all, it's gonna basically append it to the same array and return the new length of the array. Basically, it's gonna modify the array which we had passed. Okay. So for that reason, I'm gonna do a very simple implementation. Let me know if you have a better implementation in the comments. But what I'm doing is like I'm iterating through the array values dot length. Okay. And what I'm doing is like I'm taking the array property. I'm writing array length plus index, then values index. So just to let you know what I'm doing here is like I'm taking the array. I'm basically effectively I'm increasing the length of the array as well as adding new values to those length. Okay, it might seem weird if you see the first one like with this code basically in one way see we have the array length uh, and we are adding an index basically increasing it in one way. Okay, suppose we have the length of the array in this case would be what 3. We have index as 0, but the animals array was supposed to only have what 0, 1, 2 till index till 2, but in one way we are able to have index till 3 and we are adding cows to it. We got getting a point, I guess. Okay, you can try run the code and see if you're not able to understand, but effectively what you're doing is that we're increasing the length of the array. That's what we're doing here, and we need to return the new array's length, not new arrays, but a modified array's length. Okay, function push array values for this. I think it's fine. Copy, comment. Not this. Comment. Paste. Push. Animals. What the heck I did? Now let's see. Push. Yeah, it's working fine. It's our code only. This is it. Push is done now. I'll do reduce next. Reduce has a little tricky implementation. Not too much tricky, but yeah, it's somewhat tricky, you can say. Let me first copy some of the things from here. Huh? Copy, paste. We can pass an initial value to the reduce, which takes it initial value. Okay. So let me first output it. It's gonna be 10. Okay. So there are two things to reduce. One is like you can pass the initial value or you don't need to pass it. If you don't pass it, then the first value of the array which you're passing to the reduce, it's gonna take it basically. The first value is gonna be taken as the initial value in one way, in simplified terms. Let us write the code to become more clear. So we have function, we have reduce, we have this, we have array. Let us see the signature, function signature. We have a callback function which takes previous value, current index, array. So we have what callback function. Okay. So like I told you previously, we are going to have an accumulator which is going to be defined to the initial value which we are going to pass to the callback function. Initial value. As you can see here, if you again I'm highlighting it, if you see it call after callback function, we can pass an initial value also. That's what I'm doing here. We have an initial value, I'm passing it to accumulator. Basically, I'm assigning it to the accumulator variable. I'm going to iterate the uh, array now. I'll take the value out of it. Not this value. And I'm going to check if we have an accumulator or not. Basically, we have an initial value or not by default given to us. Like in this case, we got it like 0. And if we have the accumulator value, then what we're going to do is like we're going to basically assign the accumulator with a value of whatever we get after executing the callback function. Okay. So the callback function also needs a couple of things. The callback function will again need the accumulator, which is going to be the previous value, I guess. And then we'll be having the value, then the index, then the array. Basically, you can see here only, the callback function is previous value, current index, array. That's it. We are passing it previous value, uh, current value, index, and array. Okay. And we have the accumulator value assigned. Okay. This is a scenario when we have an accumulator. Okay. And if we don't have an accumulator, we need to give it a value for the first time, which is going to be the value. So let me return the accumulator also. So what happens here is like for the first time, it will come to the array and while iterating, it's going to have the index as 0. It's going to come here and check if the accumulator is there or not. Since we don't have any accumulator, it's going to come by default scenario, which is going to basically take the first value of the array, 1. It's going to assign it to accumulator. For the next iteration of the array, we'll have an accumulator, which will be the first value of the array. So I'm assuming you can dry run the code if you're getting confused at this point of time. Okay, and that's it, I guess. And let us run the code. Mm, Let me comment everything here. Okay, now let us run it. Okay, sorry. Cool, I think it should work fine now. Now also issue some with initial. Did I miss something? Okay, here. I should have commented that also. Leave it. We are getting 10. Now suppose if I don't have the initial value, I don't pass it, save it. we'll still get 10. That's what I was trying to say. You can try run the code if you have gotten confused at any point of time here. It's somewhat tricky with the reduce implementation, I feel somewhat. Anyway, reduce is done. Reduce right, I'm skipping. Reduce one was enough, I guess. You can try it out. Now I'll check reverse. Okay. Let us come back here, take the reverse, and what? Reverse is destructive. Copy, paste. So array one is array one. I don't think I'll just remove this. I'll just copy these parts. I think there are a lot of consoles, extra consoles. I'll just remove them. I'll have reversed, then I'll have array. Just to show you what happens with reverse if you're not using it. A reverse is basically going to reverse the array and it's going to do it in place. Basically, it's going to modify the array. You should avoid it if you don't want to mutate the array. You have two reversed, which I'll not be implementing. It's very easy to implement. If I've already, since I've already implemented reverse, you can just do some tweaks to it. So basically, it's going to modify. So basically, let's come back to reverse. Basically, it's going to modify the array. So that's why when I run the code here, as you can see, it has reversed the array 3 to 1, and we got the reversed output. Okay, as well as it modified the original array. That's what it does. So it returns value, returns to the original array, now reverse. Note that the array is reversed in place and no copy is made. So basically the same array is reversed, okay, and it's returned to us. Let us execute it. Sorry, write the code for it. Reverse function array. It doesn't take any parameters, yeah. Now we need to write reverse. Reverse is gonna modify the original array. So basically we need to iterate through the array. Now if you notice, it's a basic uh, I think basic DSL question you can say reverse. You don't need to reverse the. You don't need to basically iterate through all the elements in the array. You can just iterate to the till the middle of the array, whether it's in odd case or even case. Okay. So hence I'll not be iterating the whole array. I'll just iterate to the middle of the array, which is array.len by 2. I'm gonna now there are a couple of ways here. Okay, there are two ways. Like how we have in Python. If you have noticed in Python, something similar we have in JavaScript also. We can basically swap the variables in one line. It becomes a little bit clunky, I feel, but I'll show you. And another way is defining a temporary variable to swap the variables. To swap the variables which have those values. So let me show the clunky one, which is okay for some people, I guess. But yeah, I'll just show you. But array dot length -1 minus index. Basically, the last element, I'm taking it and swapping it the first element in one way while iterating to the array till the middle element. Some basic DSA stuff. I'll again take it array index what comma. Let me copy it and mess out otherwise. Okay. This is basically going to swap the variables, and after swapping it, we can return the array. Cool. Let us now check it whether everything looks fine or not. It needs array 1. As you can see, it's working fine, but I think you might feel it clunky. At least I am feeling it, so I'll just comment it and keep it for letting you know about it if you would like to check it out. But I'll be using the temporary array variable one also. I'll just take the index. Here, take it something. I'll take array index equal to array dot length -1 minus index array dot length. Basically, I'm swapping it using a temporary variable. I'm taking the array index and putting it to temp variable. I'm taking a last index while iterating into the array. Last index is gonna decide whether it's a last element or not. Anyway, while iterating to the array, we're basically swapping from the You can basically imagine the array has been split from the middle and the first elements are being swapped from the last elements. Okay. I'm not sure whether I'm able to explain properly because I'm assuming it's a very basic DSS stuff I'm assuming. Okay. So otherwise you can just dry run the code and see how it works out. Okay. And let us see if everything works fine or not. Yeah, see, as you can see, it's working fine. 321, 321. Let me check once more. Array index minus 1, minus index, array 1, index temp. Done. Now we have shift. Paste. Let's see what it has. Copy. No, copy, paste. Shift is basically gonna remove the first element from the array. Okay, and it's gonna give us the array, I guess. Remove the first element and it is the removed element. This method changes the length of the array. Basically, it's gonna modify the array also. So that is important, I guess. So we need to work on the array itself and modify it, like how we have done for the previous some of the polyfills which we have written now. For loop, not for loop, sorry. First we'll write a function shift. We'll take an array. Then we are gonna, is there any edge case here by the way? The method removed element from the array, undefined array is empty. Empty we need to check if array.length equal 0. By the with regards to array empty, I'm assuming we have passed an array which is empty. Okay, I'm not checking for any kind of scenarios where we are not passing an array itself. Okay, like I told you previously, I'm not implementing a very battle tested shift method. Okay, we need to use the browser ones for that. These are just basic polyfill implementations. Anyway, so we have let first value equal to what array 0. So we are going to take the first value from the array and post that we need to shift the elements back. Okay, this is an order of an leave the complexity aside in this video. But basically, when we remove the first element, we would need to shift these elements also. Okay, so that's what we'll be doing it now. For index is going to be what 1 because we like to shift from the first index, and we are going to take the value from here. We are going to take array index minus 1 equal to value. We are basically taking the 2 and putting it one in one's place. 3 we are taking and putting it into 2's place. That's what this for loop is doing. And we need to modify the array also. That's important because otherwise it will give some weird behaviors, I guess, if I recall. But anyway, we need to modify the array like how we have done for others also. Uh, Yeah. You can do some very interesting behaviors if you modify the length property, which I think will be going beyond the scope of this video. You can check it out anyway in your free time. So anyway, I've written the array. First value, no, sorry, I had to return the first value. First value I got, I removed it and I removed the array. Let's see now everything works fine or not. Let us shift it. It should be what array 1. Array 1, first element. First element is 1 and array 1 also has been modified. That's what shift does. So we can close this. Now we can come towards slice. Let me once check whether some of the methods I'll not be implementing. I would suggest you to implement them. I think after doing all these polyfills, I feel like you can do them as well. I'm just leaving this for you, Excel, and let me on the and you can maybe paste the solutions also in the comments if you're interested. So it's what node slice.js. Slice is gonna basically slice the array. I think we normally use it in our day-to-day jobs, I guess, and work as well. So basically, it's gonna take from what 0, 1, 2. It's gonna basically take from a second index and gonna slice it. That's why you're getting camel and all. Now for the implementation side, let us write the code now. Function slice array. Start index is what? 0. End index is what? Array dot length. For end index is gonna be array dot length, and hence it's gonna be -1. Yeah, cool. Nothing. So it's gonna work fine. Const result equal to what? Empty array. Since we need to return a new array, we are gonna iterate it. Index is gonna be what? Start index. It's gonna start from start index till the end index. We're gonna get the value from it. We're gonna check if the index is less than array dot length. If it is, then we're gonna push it to the result array, the value, and we're gonna return the result. Let me just walk you through what I've done here. I've taken the array, I've taken the start index, and I've defined it some default values. Uh, and I'm iterating to the array. I'm start from the start index to the end index. I'm just taking the values and I'm pushing to the values whatever matches this condition, which is that index should be what less than array dot length. I think there was some condition here. That's why I'm done it here like this. Once again, let me check once. Start negative start. I think the extracted 0 basically standing. The new continue extracted. Let us see whether it works fine for all the so for at least some of the basic scenarios. So let me what write animals cut paste. It's giving us camel, duck, elephant. Now let me what do can animals start index. It has something. I want it till what duck. Cool. It's work finds camel, duck, elephant, and camel, duck. Slice to 4. Yeah. And for I have not handled negative indexes. You're free to do it. I'm trying to keep it simple. I'll just cancel this. So this is it, I guess. Let me what close this now. Now we have some, I guess. We have some. Uh, some I'll implement. I'll implement unshift also, and some more also I'll implement. But let me just keep it this open. Some.js. We'll take this array, we copy this code, paste it, remove this extra stuff, run it. True. So let me write the code now. Function sum. It's gonna take what array. It's also gonna take a callback function, which is somewhat similar to how we written for others also. So it's gonna be callback function. We're gonna basically iterate through the whole array. It's gonna be what value, and we're gonna first check whether it's returned something truly value, index, array. Then we're gonna give true. Otherwise, if it passes to the whole array, then it's gonna be false. I'm not sure whether you have used sum a lot, but sum is because basically gonna it's gonna basically test whether at least one element in the array matches the condition, and it returns true if in the array it finds an element for which the provided function returns true. Otherwise, it returns false. It doesn't modify the array. It's gonna basically iterate through the whole array and gonna check whether if any of the element passes this function. If it matches, then it's gonna return true. Otherwise, it's gonna return false. Let me open what was it? No, let me open what every. Every is somewhat similar, but as you can notice here, every does something different. It's gonna basically check if any of them fails. If they fail, then it's gonna return false. Otherwise, if it iterates to the array and all of them pass, weird. It passed for some reason. One second, I think I missed out this one, and it worked for some reason. Yeah, it should be outside. Let me check it. Is it working fine now? Current value is what? Greater than 40. The current value is not greater than 40. Is it for less than 40? Yeah, I don't know why it passed previously, but yeah, it should be what it's basically should what iterate the array and it's gonna check whether the callback function any of them passes. If the one pass, if all of them passes basically, if any of them fail, then it's gonna return false. Otherwise, it's gonna iterate to the whole array. Let me now check the curly braces once. Yeah, it's gonna basically iterate to the whole array and at the end it's gonna return true. Okay, and sum is basically gonna do something different. It's gonna check if any of the element passes, it's gonna basically return true. That's the difference comes up here. And I think it's used a lot in that way, I guess. Anyway, we have callback functions passing return true, and this time the codes are matching properly. I hope so. Return false. Okay, now let us copy this. I'll just comment this line. Sum array even. Node sum.js. It's giving us true. It is true. And if suppose no one passes it, maybe let me give some weird scenario here. What? 10. Since no one will pass, should give false. It's working fine. Paste. Now let us implement unshift. Then we'll implement some of the other methods which I felt was needed to be. I felt they were somewhat similar in their nature and they were very much. I felt it was better to have them at the end. That's it. So we'll have unshift now. Unshift is somewhat similar to shift, but no, at the same time it's not so much similar also. So let us write the code for it. First, let me write unshift properly. Let me copy this, paste, return this, return this. I'm not sure whether you use unshift day to day, but let us explore it now. So unshift, what it does is basically it's gonna add the specified elements to the beginning of the array and returns the new length of the array. So what happens is like we are saying unshift to basically add what? Yeah, 4 and 5 to the beginning of the array. So it's gonna add 4 and 5, and hence we have 4, 5 at the top beginning, 1, 2, 3. So that's what it does. It takes a lot of values or elements you can say in here. So that's what we're gonna do now. We'll take function unshift. We'll take array. We'll do rest of the values. We're gonna take lat merged arrays. Uh, why I'm using merged arrays will become clear somewhat. Let me just add it first. We're having values. We're having arrays. Array. There can be more better implementations of it. I felt this was the most simplified one. So here there are some things you need to notice. Is basically return the new length of the array. Basically, it's going to modify the array itself. So it's not, we can't return a new array, but we need to add the elements also in the array in the first place. Okay. So for that, what we're doing is we are creating a different array, new one, and we are adding it with the result which we want. Like we want the values to be in the first, so we have basically spread it out. And similarly, we want the array to be again spread at the end. Okay. So this we have the new array. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to iterate the array which we have. I think it has become now clear because I have already modified the length property in previous videos. So we are basically manipulating it that way you can understand behind the scenes. So we have the index, we have what merged. We are going to basically iterate through the merged arrays length, and we are going to take the value out of it. So we are going to basically iterate to the merged arrays, and we are going to basically have an index, add the value to this index of the array. So now what we're doing is like we're basically literally overriding everything. So we have, you can imagine we have what? Four, when we do merged arrays, we'll have 4, 5, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Cool. So we'll be basically, literally, then we'll be basically taking the 4 and putting it in one place, 5 at a and 2 place, 1 at a 3 place, then we'll be modifying the length of the array so that we can accommodate these 2, 3 also. So that's what's happening in behind the scenes with this code. You can dry run it, or you can wait, put more console logs if you want. Like, I think this should suffice, I guess, for the understanding. So we have returned array.length. Cool. Now let me just copy this, comment it, paste it, come back here, unshift, array 1, 4, 5. Let's see if everything works fine or not. As you can see, it's working fine. We have the new array as well as we have modified the array which we sent it. New data property. Okay, this is it. Now we can focus on the other methods now. So now we have covered unshift. So let us now cover a couple of methods which you missed out. One of them is what was that? Flat, which is quite a popular interview question, I guess. So let me open it. So what it does is basically it allows you to remove the level nestings, okay, in one way. So as you can see here, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. When I do it flat, it's basically going to convert it to 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. By default, it's going to take a depth of 1. You can increase the depth. Like here, when you do the send 2, then it's going to basically do one. It's going to basically move one more extra nesting. Okay. So we'll be just creating that now. Let me close this. Flat what JS. So here, let me copy this just to do in the same page. I'll copy and paste it. I'll remove couple of things. First of all, let me take only this example. Paste, remove, remove. Now let us run and see what do we get as the output here. As you can see, for the first one, it just remove one level of nesting. For the second one, remove two levels of nesting. Okay. So now we'll start writing the code for this function flat. It's gonna take an array. It's gonna take a depth. By default, I'm gonna give it a depth of 1. It's quite simple, but I'm gonna go with a different implementation which is not quite popular, at least in the Google search. How much I've noticed, most implementations use reduce. I'll just stay away from reduce for this example. I'll just use a different way. So let me know in the comments if you felt this is okay, or should or if you have any other different way of implementation of flat. Here I'm just gonna iterate over the array. I'm gonna take the item. I'm gonna check if the item is an array, and this is important, and the depth is greater than 0. If both of the conditions match, only then we'll do the nesting. It has to be an array and the depth has to be greater than 0. Because if the depth we are not passing it, like suppose 2, 3, 4, then why would we basically remove the nesting in the first place? Okay, so if the array is an item and the depth is greater than 0, We're gonna take the result. We're gonna basically push it. We're gonna call again the flat recursively. We're again gonna pass the item here in this case, and depth we're gonna reduce as 1 because we already have done one level of removal of nesting. So we are just passing one level minus one depth minus one basically. And this is basically gonna return us an array. Just to be clear, here the result of returning the result will be what? Flat is basically gonna return as a result. So when this flat is again called recursively, it's also gonna give us a array itself. So we need to basically spread the result of the array, resultant array. That's what I'm doing here now. And in by default scenario, if it's just a value, then I'm just gonna push it. Okay, let us what copy this comment that comma to. Let's see what's the output now. As you can see, it's working fine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This was a very naive implementation. Let me know if it has any edge cases or as such, but it works fine for the example which I've taken. Okay, so flat is done now. Okay, this has also one more variant which is called flat map, I guess. It is nothing but basically calling the map and then doing the flat, if I recall. Depends on your form giving on to each and other column and flattening the result by one line. First you call the map, then you do the flat. Okay, so you can implement it using just whatever you already have, like flat and map. You have already created, so I'm not touching that. Now we'll go couple of important functions which we use in our day-to-day jobs also, I guess, or at least work. So now basically we'll be implementing the couple of other methods which are going to be using the iterative protocol under the hood. So I'll be using generative functions for that to make it very easy for me to implement the polyfills. So if you don't know about generative function, I would suggest to come back to this video after you know about it because otherwise it's going to bounce off your head completely. Otherwise, you can check out the code anyway. It's useful for you to know what is the use case of generator and why would you need it in the first place. Okay, so first I'll come with the keys implementation. So let me come to keys here. For the keys, now I need to come here and write what? Keys .js. Let me copy this code, paste it, node. As you can see, it's giving us 0, 1, 2. Now we need to create a function, keys, give it array as a argument, a parameter, and let us create a function generator, return what? We need to put a star so to make it a generator function. Then we need to basically iterate the array and we need to yield the key. In here, we basically need to return the index. So that's why I'm going to return the index. That's it. That's it. Let me what? Just remove these lines. Copy, comment. Wait 1 second. I think I need to put, yeah, I need to call the generator. Now let me run the code. As you can see, we're getting the same output like previously. So as you can see, with generators becomes very easy. Okay, I'll be tweaking this example to make it work for the other two methods which I'll be implementing now. So keys is done. Now we need to come to our entries. These entries. Let me come here, write entries, the JS, paste. This is basically gonna return us the entries. So for the entries, what I have to do, first let me show you. Calling entries, come here, comment it out, node, entries.js. As you can see, it's giving us a key value pair. First is the index and second is the value. So hence we need to do something similar. It's very easy. We need to come here, basically take what index from what array index done. Let us see if everything works fine. Comment here, but I should call it what entries here. Entries, copy, entries, array1, done. Let's see. As you can see, it's working fine. We got output. Again, I'm doing simplify implementation of generator functions also. There are a lot of scenarios maybe I might have not covered. So if you're interested, you can check them out and implement them. Okay. But it works fine for this simple example. So entries is done. Then I think values is quite a lot we use. Values. Again, I'm going to copy it, close this, create a new file, write values, paste it, close it. Wherever entry is there, just replace it with values. Okay, now let us see the output once. Uncomment it, comment it. Uh, Node. As you can see, we got ABC. That's what we get ABC. Okay. So again, here it's very simple. You come here, you basically return the value. Done. Come here, uncommented, comment this. Cool. Let me check if I've missed out anything. Yeah, I think it works fine. We're getting the output ABC. Okay, I think this marks the end of this whole video. I think this video was quite a big video, I guess. And let me know in the comments if you would like me to make more such videos or not. And do like, share, subscribe, comment, etc. because it took a lot of time and energy for me to make this whole video. Mostly, most of the video has been done in one or two settings itself. So hence, if possible, let me know. And if any suggestions or improvements as such, let me know in the comments as well. And hope to see you in other videos as well. And if you'd like to check out the code, it's going to be in the GitHub as well. So you can check out from there. And bye.